Hey Slightly Unblended, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I wanted to do a fun little whatever this look is with the Blend Bunny Cosmetics the Dollhouse palette. So if you want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. Just jumping on into it today. So I'm taking the Blend Bunny Cosmetics the Dollhouse palette and the B2 brush, and from the Dollhouse palette I'm taking Stitched. My lid is primed with the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas in Fair, and I'm just patting Stitch down all the way into my crease. That way we can create some smokiness and some depth. And this tape that I'm using on my eye is from e.l.f. Cosmetics. I wanted it to be a nice and like sharp little shape there. I'm just going in and building up that shade so it's nice and smoky. Now I'm taking the B4 brush from Blend Bunny Cosmetics to just go ahead and start to blend out Stitched. Giving it that nice blenderoo. Next up, I'm taking the shade Addict with the B1 brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and start to blend out Stitched with it, just placing it right where we left off and it was diffused, where I diffused Stitched. Then I'm just going to build that up and get it nice and blended together, back and forth windshield wiper motions, and just building up that color. With the B4 brush, I'm taking the shade Plastic, and I'm going ahead and blending out Addict with that, and I just feel like that gives it that nice, almost neutral, it is pretty neutral, but I'm giving it that nice little neutral moment because I feel like this would be a nice grungy look with using it. So I'm just taking it and I'm doing back and forth windshield wiper motions and making sure that I have it to the level of intensity that I wish for it to be, nice and blended and just soft. I feel like this is a lovely transition shade for any of the dark smoky neutrals in this palette. So now I'm taking the B1 brush and touching Addict up because I did lose a little bit of the pigment, but that's normal with blending. This palette blends amazing, and so with blending it is quite repetitive. You have to go in and just go back and forth between the shades to make sure that you have the intensity of the shades that you desire. So I say that blending is quite repetitive because I do go back and forth between shades, making sure that everything's even and as vibrant as I would like for it to be. So with the B3 brush, I'm just going in and touching up Stitched. I would like to have it nice, smoky, and dramatic because I do love dramatic looks. I want this to be nice and intense because we didn't use a black base. We just used a regular base, but feel free to use a black base if you'd like to. That would work wonderfully. This shade is so pigmented and amazing. I just wanted to make sure that it was nice and even with the blending, if that makes sense. So to do this, I'm just doing back and forth windshield wiper motions and patting it to make sure that it is to that intensity level that I desire. With the B1 brush, I'm going back into Plastic and making sure that I have it nice and evenly blended, doing back and forth windshield wiper motions with the lightest amount of pressure. With the B5 brush, I'm taking the shade Porcelain to diffuse Plastic. I feel like this is such a lovely shade to diffuse these neutral tones with. It does an amazing job and I love it so much. So I'm just doing a back and forth windshield wiping motion very, very gently. With the B1 brush, I'm going back in to touch Plastic up because at this point you're going to lose a little bit of that pigmentation from it. That's okay, just go in and do a little baby blenderoo. I really do like to take back and forth windshield wiper motions, but I also like to go clockwise and counterclockwise in rotation to make sure that there's a more even blend and it's nice and vibrant. So right here in the crease you can kind of tell that we've lost a little bit of Stitch, so I'm just going to go in and bring it back, doing back and forth windshield wiper motions and building that intensity level back up. I felt like for the depth and the dimension for this look and for how dramatic that I was going for it to be, I wanted it to be nice and dark. So now I'm taking some micellar water on a Q-tip and just cleaning up my crease, making sure that I still have a little bit of stitch there to actually have the depth that I was trying to achieve. Now I'm carving my crease. I'm taking some of my Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas in Fair and just stamping it into the crease just where my skin of my lid is showing, trying to hug it right up against that shade and get it nice and carved out. I try to really take my time with this and make sure that my brush is nice and flat. That way I'm not taking any of the color that I had down on the lid off or hiding it in any way, just to make sure I have a nice base that's tacky for the shimmer. Now I'm taking my NYX glitter primer and I'm popping some of that down on the lid, and I'm using my finger just to like evenly disperse it all over the lid. That way the shimmer will have a nice hold to the lid and it'll be a little bit more intense. I find it easier for it to be pretty intense by using the glitter primer. So now I'm adding Chantilly to the lid with my finger. I started with a brush, but I was like, you know what, it'll be faster to just use my finger, and I wasn't feeling very well anyway, so I just used my finger to apply it. With the dough color number 14 brush, I'm taking Harlequin to the lid, like kind of blending it with Stitched, but also blending it with Chantilly. I love this shade. It is just dreamy, and I felt like it just worked very well with blending with Stitched and making sure that it was a nice gradient blend with Chantilly. Right here I cleaned my brush off and I was just going in and touching the shimmers up. With the dough color 13 brush, I'm taking the dreamy shade Lace and popping that into the inner corner and also blending it with Chantilly. With the B3 brush, I'm taking Stitched and blending it with Harlequin just to make sure everything is nice and blended together. With the B4 brush, I'm going in and touching the shade Attic up and making sure it's nice and blended together with Stitched. I'm also going in and touching the shade Plastic up just a bit. And to make sure that everything is nice and diffused, I'm taking the B5 brush and Porcelain just to soften it all up and make sure that it just looks airbrushed. I love the shade so much. I'm taking the Lashing Out Glam Dimensions Graffiti Liner in the shade Pot of Gold with a liner brush that I got off of Amazon in a set of 3. So what I'm doing is I'm starting from the inner corner of my eye and taking it about halfway. This is a duochrome shimmery liner. Their liners like this from the Dimensions graffiti liners are just amazing, and I felt like with Pot of Gold it wouldn't be like too subtle that you could like not see it very well. So I'm just taking it and I'm taking it about halfway. Then I'm going to go and do a wing. Not quite there yet, but I have a plan for this. I'm going to do a little swizzly, I'm trying to think of how I'm going to say it, but like squiggles to make it look fun. But I'm taking this and I'm kind of flicking it up towards my brow. So now what I'm going to do, oh yes, I love it so much. I'm just making sure that that liner is as gold as I can get it for right now. Now I'm taking my NYX Epic Ink eyeliner and I'm going to do a big, bold, and dramatic wing. I'm kind of using this tape to be a guard for the shape of this liner. So I'm flicking it outwards and then I'm just going to kind of connect it over towards the shimmer and fill it in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to bring it onto the lid close to my lash line. Just getting it nice and large and in charge because I've been obsessed with big bold wings lately. So I'm going to take it in and leave it about halfway, then work it from my inner corner and then just start to fill it in and connect it. I'm also going to start the cat eyeliner part in the inner corner. I don't feel like I'm very good at doing this, but I just kind of like start it from the top before oh yeah, messed up. But I started from the top before I finished the bottom. I don't know what happened there, but we got to do a minor cleanup. So I'm taking some micellar water on a little flat brush and cleaning that up and trying to make sure that it's nice and sharp. And yeah, I was so mad at myself, but I was pretty impressed with how I cleaned it up. So from the outer corner of my eye, I'm just starting to make it a little bit wider and a little more triangle shape, just for the shape of the liner. Now, right above where I left off with that gold liner, I'm drawing a line and I'm connecting everything together. And right where there's that little blank space from where I messed up, I'm going to start to fill that in a little bit more. I wanted to make this all nice and connected and just like a nice little dramatic graphic liner moment. And here we have it. Yes, nice and dramatic. Jumping back into that pot of gold liner, I'm just taking it and touching it up a little bit because some of that Epic ink eyeliner did kind of overpower it. So I touched it up. Now what I'm doing is I'm doing like half circle, kind of like little humps. So I'm taking it and I'm bringing it up and then kind of down. And once I get it like the rainbow shape, like the half circle, I'm going to go underneath that graphic liner and do the same thing. That way it just looks like it's looping around. I don't quite know what that would be, but I felt like it would be fun, and it was definitely different, and I just wanted to try something different. I zoomed you in a bit so you could kind of see what I was talking about a little bit better. Alright, making sure that they're even. Look at that. Pretty cool. Alright, be right back.
Okay, this is the finished look. I'm sorry for not talking and this was being a voiceover. I'm very sniffly. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. I've been feeling like I'm going to sneeze like all day, and then I have a season fit, and then I just feel like I'm going to sneeze, so I'm just like a ugh. So that's why this is a voiceover, and I want to thank you for watching. I'm sorry it was a voiceover. Sorry for the missed upload. I don't think this is going up before the other one that I'm going to do, so for the missed upload that there was, I apologize for that. If you'd like to keep up with my awkward face and shenanigans while I'm not here on YouTube, I'll have all my social medias linked down in the description box below. And if you'd like to keep up with me while I am here on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. It means so much to me, and I appreciate it so much. And don't forget to let me know what you want to see next down below. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I hope that I'll see you in the next one. Bye!